Welcome everybody here to Dreamhack 2011 for Dota 2! Dota has returned to the main stage. I will be your commentator for the entire best of 3 competition coming from here. Myself, Toby1 Kenobi. I've been imported in from Australia. And of course, we do have 2 amazing teams coming up to you. Fnatic MSI going up against the Wild Honey Badgers. Fnatic, it is their 2nd appearance as far as their team goes in, do I dare say the word MOBA, genre here on the main stage. Going up against the, what can be classed as the Swedish boys on your right-hand side. It is the Swedish guys with the Danish import, their captain being Synderen. People might know him from the team Next Evolution that competed at the Dota 2 International Tournament, and that is his new team. They have fought their way not only through, they weren't part of the top 4 teams that got brought into this tournament, they actually fought their way through the 64-team BYOC qualifiers. So now with all of you guys down at the LAN event, and they fought their way through into this grand final, and now they're going to be facing up against Fnatic MSI. Fnatic MSI only dropped one game in their entire group stage, and it was to the team who is also sitting on this stage. It is the Wild Honey Badgers. So let's have a look towards our boys from Fnatic MSI. We have all the way down there on the end, it is Grinzy. And of course, jumping up is going to be our nice little boy, Mitch. We're going to look to see him really try and dominate on this Wild Honey Badgers side. And then their captain in the middle, it is Gog. Their second last player in their lineup, Andre. And then the last but not least, he is the big man, he is the best man, it is Bayer. Now we can also look over towards our Swedish lineup. It is your home team, you could say, with a Danish import. This is Sea Badger. Going into our next one, it is the hard carry for the Wild Honey Badgers, Peppy. The Danish import, the man from the international, the experienced man, also a good friend of mine, Synderen. Jumping in, it is Coronity. He's not to be confused with Kuro. This guy is so much better. And then our last man down the end, Matchroom. So without any further ado, let's jump ourselves into the game where the draft has already begun, as these 2 teams will basically lay the groundwork for what we're about to see here on the main stage. Normally, we will generally see the Radiant Fnatic MSI. They just hate that Lich, and they do not want that Night Stalker to go into anywhere in the pools. The Night Stalker is one of the best heroes that has been played by Wild Honey Badger. Synderen, the one who coined, in just a couple of recent weeks, coined out the Yule Scepter build. So he has been taken out, and Lich has been one of those really horrendous heroes to go up against in a lane, especially when you're trying to go a hard carry. So he has been removed. Prophet, the hero who can TP anywhere on the map, create his own army out of the trees, and then push also with his ultimate. It is just way too powerful a hero, so he has been removed out. Same with Broodmother. One of the recent additions was added about 3 weeks ago into the Dota 2 pool. Of course, this game, if you do not know, is still in beta mode, but has been in beta for a fair decent time now, and the teams are really getting used to it. We've had no problems whatsoever throughout the entire tournament here at Dreamhack, so we're going to give a big shout out to all the admins as well as the guys at Valve who have kept this tournament running. Let's have a look at our picks. The first pick did go to the Radiant side, so Fnatic MSI with their first pick went straight up anti-mage, possibly one of the biggest carry heroes, the Agi carry that everybody loves. He is almost impossible to kill in the early part of the game through that blink ability. A fair cooldown time on it when you first start off, but you get the blink right and you'll be fine. Later on in the game, the blink cooldown is completely ridiculous how low it is. He can transition between the creep camps once he has the Battle Fury, and will just demolish absolutely everything, farm up, and also gank up. Going into the lineup was the response from the DotA being Windrunner and Tidehunter. Windrunner, basically a fellow Ranger of mine, and also a very, very great side lane solo. The ability to escape a massive amount of evasion, so not only be able to escape all magic attacks, but can basically escape all physical attacks with that Windrunner ability. so she'll be getting herself out very, very fast. But you look for those shackle shots as well as power shots. You try and lash them on together. So the shackle shot, well, if you just throw it at a normal hero just by themselves, it won't lock them in place. But if you latch them to a tree, an enemy hero, you can actually latch 2 heroes together or latch them to a creep, and that will give you the full extended time of the stun. And that is where Windrunner is massively powerful during those team fights. Tidehunter also in the pick. He's a big, big team fight hero. That Ravage ultimate of his stuns everything anywhere on the screen, obviously around him, and that will be a big, big team fight to go early on in the play. You'll be looking for that Gush ability. The Dire also picking up Viper. It was their last pick in their 3, which you're allowed to do in the start of the Dire. And that will be their solo mid. So we've seen many, many times their solo mid Viper. He is just massively power, a little bit of farm. The question will be what Radiant's answer will be to that as well. They, Fnatic MSI, over the course of the tournament, have enjoyed running the anti-mage as a solo mid lane. But generally when you do that, you need to have a little bit more support in that lane. So you look for a hero like a Venomancer who's already been taken out, or heroes like a Witch Doctor or something along those lines, just to help him out when he's a melee hero. So we might see a bit more of a conventional play from Fnatic MSI, running that anti-mage on the bottom lane, with support from Enigma. He is the second hero for the Radiant side. Of course, a lot of people will know him for his big, big ultimate, the Black Hole, which is able to suck up heroes from everywhere. And Omni Knight, actually, for the first time in this tournament, makes it through the ban stages and actually gets picked up, which is, well, a little bit surprising considering he is one of the most favored heroes of Fnatic MSI, as well as almost every single team in Dota 2. The ability to heal any target and will damage anyone who's around that target. Has the degen aura, which is great for chasing down. They're probably thinking that too to help couple up when you have Viper on your tail. That degen aura level up to maximum 4 if you can, as fast as you can. And then the ultimate, which will also protect. Mirana is the third pickup for the Radiant. You also notice the Venomancer ban up for the Radiant. It was a combination which Wild Honey Badgers actually used. So it was, when Mirana was picked up, they ran Venomancer as a side lane solo, with Syndrome playing that role, and was able to actually bring down the Mirana. Mirana has that great escape mechanism as a leap. There's a 40-second cooldown at level 1, and that's where the issue comes in. The Venomous Gale can go 2 times. It's only a 20-second cooldown on that. You pump that out, you can push the Mirana back, and Mirana will basically die almost instantly or use up every consumable, which means she can't come very, very close to the lane. We have seen, as far as our last bans out, Ancient Apparition and Venomancer have been removed by the Radiant. We see Earthshaker and Witch Doctor being banned out by the Dire. So they were thinking the same sort of thing. The full lineup is up for the Radiant now. So the Crystal Maiden being the last one. Her global aura will give all the mana they need to create the conversions, drop the Starfalls, hurl up the arrows, throw the Purifications down, and for Anti-Mage to blink anywhere along the map. Also, great early game. Has herself a stun, also an AoE Nova. They're generally the first things you want to level up. The Nova will be great for trying to support those lanes out and hold that Dire lane off. Windrunner wants to get in close to try and stop that Anti-Mage farm, and will need help to do so. We do see Vengeful Spirit in the pick for the Dire. Really surprising the Radiant banned out Ancient Apparition, not Vengeful Spirit, as Enigma, a lot of people will go a Blink Dagger and a BKB on him. It gets him into position, and the BKB, when you pop that off, you can't pop any form of magical effect on him, so you can't stun, you can't do anything. Lion is the last pickup for the Dire, so we have our full lineup for the Dire. It will be Windrunner, Tidehunter, you know who it is, Viper, Vengeful Spirit, Lion, going up against the Radiant Fnatic MSI with Anti-Mage, Enigma, Mirana, Omni Knight, and Crystal Maiden will be it. The players are picking up their heroes. There's only 2 more to pick up for the Radiant side. So Fnatic MSI, they must select. They do so, and that will leave our last player to do it. And then we get ourselves into the game. They've only got so much time to do it, man. And then we can get ourselves underway. As far as these lanes go, it's going to be pretty self-explanatory for the Radiant, having that Omni Knight, or maybe even Anti-Mage. That could be the only thing which could change up if they want to run Omni Knight as a solo bottom or solo mid. Most Omni Knights do like to run the solo mid, that way they can run their bottle charger, so we'll check very, very closely for the items. Also want to point out that the players can hear every single word that I say, and they can also hear the sound effects from what I show on the big screen. So if there's a kill on Roshan, I will not be showing that, as they will hear the ground thundering when they're trying to kill off Roshan. Also, if there is any big items, any big plays, I will not be, well, talking about that, because that will just spoil the experience for the gamer. So people who have been tuning into the live stream over the last couple of days, you'll, well, basically be hearing something a little bit different to what you've been hearing. The players couldn't hear me before unless I screamed it, well, loud enough, and then they definitely heard me. So, Andre, just starting up already. Of course, we do have the vocal boys, the Fnatic MSI team. They like to get really vocal and get pumped up into this game. Wild Honey Badgers, they like to get vocal, but only when they're winning. They, I was talking to them before. It's like, is it going to become a shouting match on the main stage? Bit of a conversation which has been pretty hot across, well, all of Dota World. considering the performance of DK very, very recently with their conduct at the World DotA Championships. In the meantime, we do actually have a pause. I don't know if we actually have an issue with any of the players. I'm just going to get an update.
Players on the edge, that's what you're testing, right?
Yep.
The players on the edge can see, they were complaining here, right? They can see it, so they want to chuff. Is that okay for you?
That's fine. All right, so there's just a little bit of a problem. It seems the players, I don't know why this still wasn't picked up in the Heroes of New Earth tournament, but the players can actually see the middle screen, which was my viewing cam. So it was just taken off the screen so people can't see it. And that means everything is fair, everything plays nicely. So we can resume the game when they're ready to go. Well done to Matrim. Well done to Matrim. Everyone can see that up on the live stream. Also, thank you very much to the guys who pinged the main screen. They will all come through in just a moment, so the game sound. I hope it doesn't blow the speakers here when that happens. There we go. It's fine. And we will now get our game underway. Officially, the counter is counting down. The creep wave spawns at 0.
Prepare for battle.
And the players will roll out into their lanes. Of course, as I was just saying, I will not be commenting on where they're actually going to. That is something for the players to show the opposition, or not show them until they appear out from the side of the trees. So we will see the early games. Generally early on the game of a game of Dota, people love to actually go for a smoke gank. They pop that smoke off very, very early, lets you hide from everybody, and we have a bit of a pause game as Peppy just disconnects from the game. As he's just in there going WTF. Launching back up to his Dota 2, and he'll reconnect back into the game. So I want to say thank you. This is not the Warcraft 3 game, and you can reconnect straight away. In the meantime, though, we were talking about smoke ganking. It's a very, very normal strat in this game of Dota, where you can smoke up, and your entire team will actually be hidden from the opposition. Wards don't reveal them out. You don't see that. The only way you can break the smoke is if a hero walks in close, or you start attacking a hero. You can actually drop down wards, you can pop up abilities, you can actually do that to a certain extent, but there is no way to actually pop it off unless you do either of those two things. So it's a great way of early in the game getting some ganks, and also later on in the game, if you're getting stuck inside your own base, you know the enemy has complete map position, vision everywhere, you can't do anything, you pop one of those smokes, you run straight out the front door, and you look for somebody to kill. So it's a great way of actually playing, and in the meantime, they are going into the lane, so you can see it up on the big screen, and we'll be seeing it in just a moment. So we're going to see Karanti, and the first player to actually be seen is going to be the anti-mage on that bottom lane. So just seeing that does tell them that anti-mage on the bottom lane will be looking for a lot of farm, or maybe he's just going for a little bit of a wander inside the jungle. Maybe he just enjoys the trees. The Wild Honey Badgers still just trying to keep their positioning secret. Tidehunter being on the bottom lane. You can do multiple things when you have a Tidehunter roaming around. A lot of Tidehunters will actually generally not go into their original lane from the get-go. They'll go down there with the wards, try and plant them down, and look to actually block the creep camps. It's a big, big thing when you're trying to play Dota. When you're trying to hold a lane on against a tri-lane, you try and pull the creep camps just between these areas up here. So they're very, very easy creep camp spawns. So once you hit that 15-second mark, every creep camp will spawn at 30 seconds, and then at the minute marks from that point on. And you can pull on the 15-second mark, and not just do the normal pull. We won't even see a couple of double pulls out. It's an easier way. You can build up the creep wave just a little bit stronger and push down those towers a lot easier. So now, finally, the creeps have spawned up. They hit in the middle lane, and we're going to see for the first time who is where. Viper showing himself in that middle lane, and Vaya, as well as the anti-mage. We are going to see that melee anti-mage, as well as support by the Crystal Maid in the middle lane. We're going to try and shut down that Viper. How effective that will be, we are about to find out just as well. Vengeful Spirit's going to come in. The smoke pops a very, very quick blink there by Anti-Mage. The double damage rune on the Vengeful Spirit, well, as the 0-minute rune. Could have done a lot of damage early on to that Anti-Mage to force a couple of consumables to pop off. And a very, very quick pause here by Andre. It looks like one of his hotkeys is not in the right position, or actually no, he's changing his mouse sensitivity, and should be able to get back in the game very, very fast. So he's now ready, and just wait for the call from Wild Honey Badgers. They are ready from Matrim, so pause, resume the game. Has happened. Meanwhile, up on our top lane, we're going to see Lion going up against a Mirana. Now, this is something we have seen from Wild Honey Badgers. They did this exact same lane up against SK during their semi-final match, and well, I'm just going to say it didn't work out too well for the Mirana. The line was able to get a little bit of fun. There was a roam from the mid. It was the Tidehunter actually going for the roam. Wild Honey Badgers do love running that Tidehunter, and it's a simple gush. You can go with the stun, and this is what makes Lion so powerful. You can go with that level 1 Impale, then you go with the Hex as well, and you can see he's got both of those guys up right now too. So if he wants to, he can shut down Midge for a decent amount of time, It will cost a fair chunk of mana to use that, so he doesn't want to use it too crazily. Maybe a little bit of harassment here or there. But we'll want to wait till level 6. That's when he gets his Finger of Death, which is one hell of a burst damage. And you can see it right there. The damage 500 from the initial hit will cost 200 mana and also 150 seconds on the cooldown. So you got to make that hit count. Meanwhile, on the bottom lane, it's going to be the Omni Knight going solo up against Synderen. So Omni Knight versus a ranged Windrunner, which is never a fun thing to go up against, especially when it's Synderen. He can harass pretty nicely with that power shot if he needs to, the extra range. There is the heal that can come out from Omni Knight, but he needs that extra regen. And we're seeing already, oh, hello, Toby 1 star. I missed the first blood. Top lane line goes down. Mirana is the one to get it. That really should never, ever happen in a game, considering there is only one stun to come out from Mirana, so must have really coupled it off nicely. So now, already Viper harassing that anti-mage in the middle lane. Crystal Maiden is going to keep that support going. At this point, still just solo on the top, solo on the bottom, and now we're going to go in towards the middle lane. So the Gush goes already. Baja will go down. The Crystal Maiden was the easier target to go. So the applause could be for two reasons. One, Peppy getting the kill on the Crystal Maiden, or two, my eyes could actually watch the damn thing. So Synderen on the bottom lane. Going to pull that creep wave a long, long way up. He's going to get a lot of farm on that bottom lane. Of course, you can see the CS scores right now. Not something which I can actually say out loud, because basically the teams don't know that. But Viper in the middle lane. We're seeing already with a Wraith Band and a fair decent chunk of gold in that middle lane. Viper likes to go for an early Vanguard, gives him a lot more life, and then he can look towards the damage dealing item, so a Manta style or something along those lines. That's been the general build for the Wild Honey Badger's Viper. There are some alternative builds. You can look towards a Shadow Blade. If you're a Dota person, you'll remember it's called Lothar's in the Warcraft 3 version of the game. And that's a possibility for Viper. Allows him to be very, very aggressive on the ganks. And also when you pop off that Shadow Blade, you get the extra movement speed. And that's what lets you track down these heroes, especially when you've got the slow on them. And the slow might not always be able to pop off. It's one of those things where it's with an attack, you've got to stop to attack, or at least stop your complete movement. You can't just chase after somebody and keep attacking. You can get to a point where you can actually orb walk, and that will let you move a little bit faster. But there is the point where you just go, hang on, I need a little bit of extra movement speed. Lothars can give me that, but once you start attacking, you do come out of that effect. So we're just going to watch that farm very, very closely. The Viper versus the Anti-Mage is going to be the big one. And again, Arrow on the top lane. See Badger Starfall. This is probably exactly how it happened last time. Fnatic MSI, Mitch claiming 2 kills already on that top lane. He'll be very, very happy with that start. And Lion is not going to be happy with that start at all. Lion, one of those heroes that needs that extra farm, wants to get that great start. We've seen already a Blink Dagger Lion being played in our Battle for Third match earlier today. And it was massively effective. Last initiated anti-mage, and that's what they're hoping for this time around. Viper just pushing that anti-mage back. He still has a fair chunk of consumables, that salve as well as a tango charge. So if he needs it, he will be fine. And Crystal Maiden can always pull. There is another healing salve on her, which is a very, very fast regeneration. The only problem is if you take damage, just like he does right now, that effect does stop. But he already used the maximum effect of the salve, so I won't really care too much. It's just Viper trying to harass from range. Meanwhile, back on that bottom lane, Synderen seems to be having a great time. A level 4.5 Omni Knight up against level 5.5 Synderen. And that's just because Omni Knight gets pushed back. He's forced to move back, forced to heal up. We're seeing him with the Soul Ring right now. It's a core item when it comes to Omni Knight. You go that Soul Ring to start with, and then you go the mech a little bit later. You can have that big burst charge, a little bit of extra armor for everybody, and the continuous regeneration for you, because you can pop off your purification as much as you want to, and then pop the Soul Ring and keep on healing and keep on chaining off that way. But it gets to a point where you will start to run out of life. That Soul Ring sacrifices your own life to temporarily give you mana. Meanwhile, back at that mid, the Vengeful Spirit, giving a little bit more support towards that mid, trying to keep that Viper as farmed up as possible and that Anti-Mage as shut down as possible. It's one of the big things Fnatic MSI enjoy doing. They don't want the big carry hero to get a little too out of position. They don't want to get ganked up at all, because that's the same said about almost every single carry hero when he plays. But for them, Fnatic MSI like to be progressive. Then they get the momentum once that hero gets enough of the farm. Up on the top lane, Mitch just going to get gushed. This is just pure harassment from Coronity, and Mitch is quite happy to do it back again. Pulls off the Starfall and Arrow. Lion's not there in time. He couldn't stun and get the Hex off. And Tidal down, 3 kills for Fnatic MSI, all of them going towards Mitch. Shackle shot on bottom, holding Omni Knight in place, but a simple heal that forces him to use up all his mana as well. He's already popped up that Soul Ring charge, so he won't have mana back if Windrunner keeps on trying to harass. Viper in the meantime, He's still only level 5. It's the problem when you run a carry in the middle lane with that support hero. You don't get those levels up as fast as you want to. So he's actually going to be enjoying this time where he is by himself. Vengeful Spirit has already run back. Was not wanting to be part of that middle lane. Must have caught a little bit of harassment from the Crystal Maiden as well as the Anti-Mage. So Viper going to enjoy this little time. Up to level 6 is what they want to get. You pop that ultimate from Viper, as well as just his standard poison attack. It's a double slow effect, all from the one hero. And with that, you can basically shut down Arrow. See Badger stab. So Gonskis.
It was not luck, but
4 kills, all to Mitch. He is a pure damage dealer to be coming out for Fnatic MSI. And once he starts getting big in this mid game, he's really going to start causing a lot of issues for this Wild Honey Badgers lineup. Then again, the same could be said about Viper, but Viper doesn't have 4 kills to his name. As Anti-Mage, just a little bit more cautious. Synderen still hanging around the middle lane. I mean, down that bottom lane. Free farm for him and really up against that Omni Knight. You don't really expect Omni Knight to get massively on top. You can see the CS scores for yourself down there. It is looking pretty grim as far as items even go for him. Meanwhile, back up on the top lane, Lion does return to the place where he has died 4 times. Then again, the place where he's died 4 times has been splattered all across that tier 1 tower on the top. Still, both these teams, just to let you understand a little bit more about the way these guys play their game. Some of them, if you ever looked and watched international games, you look for Na'Vi. You look for Na'Vi. My comment was not relating to that. Arrow's going to fly across the middle and hits! Viper! Blink goes up, that's a 5-second stun. VS goes for a stun as well. He's coming too close. Matrim will get ganked off. Fnatic MSI getting 2 in the middle. The Fnatic MSI manager standing up, cheering on the team. And this is dangerous for Wild Honey Badgers, not just because it is 6-1 on the kill count board in favor of Fnatic, but because when Fnatic gets momentum, they do not stop. Their inertia is completely insane. They will try and steamroll this. They will not want to lose it. And really, a lot of Wild Honey Badgers' momentum comes from this early laning stage. Mirana hasn't even really left that top lane until that point and was involved in yet another kill. This time, it was onto the Anti-Mage. So they're sharing the farm out, giving a kill towards that Anti-Mage. That will help him get towards that Vanguard. Oh, actually, probably not, considering he has gone that poor man's shield very early on in the piece. So we're going to see a Battle Fury Anti-Mage. And that is dangerous when he gets that. Generally, you want to have that Anti-Mage with the Battle Fury around the 18-minute mark. If you get that, you're basically on target for the Anti-Mage to get massively overpowered. You look for the Battle Fury, then towards the Manta style, and then the Heart. And Anti-Mage is almost unstoppable at that point. And now on the top lane, the gank's going to go on Mitch. He goes for the Arrow C. Badger manages to dodge it right now. Hurls the finger. Mitch leaps over. Will he get the kill? Yes, he does. Coronity, he wants it as well. But Andre to the neighborhood. The Black Hole holds the tide. He is not level 6. And the Starfall! Double kill! Mitch is on fire right now. Double kill for the top lane. Omni Knight, he just does not care. It's just like, you know what, Synderen, you have to leave that bottom lane sometime. Mitch, my teammate, yeah, you know him? 3 Wraith Bands, man. 3 Wraith Bands. This is not a normal build for Mirana. The fact he's gone that much Agi stack this early on in the game, he will have to sell one of those later on in the game. He will have to sell it. Because he needs that Manta Style, needs that inventory slot to get it. So, interesting choice, Synderen. Copying a lot of damage there from Omni Knight. That's that power of the purification. And Synderen sees the arrow fly over, but they're going to go for a gank on the bottom lane. Mitch forced to actually turn Mitch into a chicken. It's not going to last much longer. Omni Knight was shackled on, so he couldn't get in close. He couldn't land that heal off on Mitch. And that's what he wanted to do. And was unable to do it. In the meantime, Mitch... Oh, hello. Go for a little lag. Halaterra spotting him out on the run. He spots out the smoked up Karandi as well as Matrim. Arrow flies, hits Synderen! Half the life is gone! Mitch is back in again. He's looking for the Starfall. Needs a little bit more damage. The extra Starfall doesn't go. And now Mitch getting shackle shot. The chain stun. The power shot through. Karandi did get that effect off of the anchor smash. Mitch on the run, but bottled charges. Gets that life back up again. The arrow will come off cooldown. And Bayer's in. The Frost is on Tidehunter. He throws out the gush, but he is gone. VS is on the run, but Mitch leaps up. Arrow, close range. Double kill! Mitch is now 8-0 with 2 assists. He has been there for every single kill. And Sea Badger in the middle lane Anti-Mage pops in, pops the ulti, gets the kill. The Enigma did the hard work. There's so many kills going the way of Mitch. 8-0, 2 assists, and also 2 kills on the Anti-Mage. This is fantastic play by Fnatic MSI. Not only are they getting the kills, well, hello, first tier 1 tower goes down. And it goes to the Viper on the top lane. That is not really what we kind of expect. Not when it's 11-1. Back towards the top lane. Viper still wants to keep up their farm. He is the hope for their team. He can deal off the damage. He can really shut down that Mirana until she gets those damage-dealing items. And we're starting to see it being assembled. Viper also needs the same. He's forced to go that defense to the Vanguard. I say forced. Really, a Vanguard is all you need. If you get a Vanguard and a Hood of Defiance on that Viper, he is next to unkillable. Especially once that corrosive skin's leveled up. You're also noticing he hasn't leveled that at all. Not a single level on it.
Invisibility.
In towards the middle lane. Syndra actually leaving that bottom lane to go in towards the mid. Of course, Mitch leaves the top lane to head in towards the mid as well. So Syndra is just like, ah, damn it. My level advantage is gone. I had it. And we see Omni-Knight having a little bit more fun on that bottom lane. And Coronity. They realize they need the levels on him. So mane times the team fights have happened, and he has not had that Tidehunter Ravage. That is so crucial when it comes towards those team fights. They need to get those levels up. So we will see Tidehunter on that bottom lane for a decent amount of time, or until he hits that level 6. The only other way you can get up that fast is if you, well, basically get a couple more ganks off. Now Sea Badger coming in towards the middle lane with Viper, showing himself out running down the hill. It's one of these things when you have in that middle lane, unless there is a ward up on the high ground, you don't see who is actually hanging around. And we just got Syndra pausing for a second. It seems there's some Skype issues. What are you designed to open up at this point? And then back in towards the game. So just needing a moment. So Syndra is now good to go. Fnatic MSI, we've actually got one player who's stood up at this point and headed down to the very, very end. So I don't know if Fnatic is having some issues. Yeah, there's a bug down on the very, very last end, or they're saying a bug or something. So at this point, the Wild Honey Badgers in a really, really bad position. It could be worse for them. And the main reason I'm going to say it could be worse, Peppy could have died a crap load more. He's got 1 kill, he's got 1 death. The 5 kills on the line does kind of shut them down. The line wanted to have that Blink Dagger up, or at least some form of items, so he can chain those stuns off. He can be that initiation on the Anti-Mage. The biggest counter we saw in that battle for the 3rd position game was the fact that Anti-Mage got shut down by a Blink Dagger Lion. But Lion won that first blood, and that's what he needed to do. And it was just that one first blood that Mitch managed to pull off, and everything's just rained down from ever since. So 3 heroes now showing themselves in the middle lane. Wild Honey Badgers might be going, okay, if we can't kill you, we can push you down. We can gain the advantage back by killing off these tier 1 towers, or at least try and do a little bit of damage towards these tier 1 towers. Syndra spots off Baja on the side, lands the shackle, Lion Stun as well. Good chain off here, misses the arrow. Syndra manages to go out there. TP support comes in from the Omni-Knight. He is trying to go on the chase. The Wild Honey Badgers doing a very, very wise thing, falling back very, very fast. Getting a very, very easy kill there on the Crusmate. If you can't kill the big hard carries, pick off the support, shut them out of their game, and then don't throw anything back. You get that advantage in the kill. They've done some damage towards that tier 1 tower, and they force the TP from Omni-Knight. That's going to buy more time for the Titan to get some farm on that bottom lane. He's not going to be pushed back by the Omni-Knight. Get him up to level 6, and this could be just a simple kill in the middle lane, a simple TP from Fnatic, and that can change the game around for Wild Honey Badgers. They still want to keep it pushed out. Omni-Knight, while he would love to go in there, Mitch would be the one holding off that middle lane. Bottom lane, 3 heroes down here. Sea Badger's gone towards the bottom lane, and again, the tier 1 towers are being pressured here. Fnatic MSI need to do something about this. They've already used that TP on Omni-Knight, so it's going to be on cooldown for him to come down towards the bottom lane. And not to mention, he doesn't want to spend the extra 135 gold. Repel up from Omni-Knight. The ultimate from Viper still will cast on him. That effect will still hold after the repel wears off. This Repel was cast first, and they're going to fight this. They're going in. Andre's got 2 with a black hole. Karati's on level 6. There is no Ravage. He has to hold his distance. Sea Badger almost down. Mitch has come in towards the fight. He will push them back. Karati is caught out. He is mini-stunned by Enigma. The heal from Omni-Knight ensures the last hit. Mitch is not done just yet. He's on the chase. Arrows off cooldown. Will fly up. Does hit on Viper. It's a close range one, so only a 2, maybe a 3-second stun. And now the CM with the Frostbite. Fnatic is killing them all. Omni-Knight picks up a double kill. Great shackle shot by Syndra, but he had nothing to chain it off with. Fnatic in range of the tower will be forced back a little bit further. But now they have convergence. They might think about doing a little bit of damage to a tier 1 tower themselves. Fnatic off to a major start. You guys can see it there in the goal graph. I won't reveal it on by speaking about it here on the stream. Just a reminder, the players can hear everything I'm saying. Down towards the bottom lane, the conversion pushing down the tier 1 tower. It will go down. And Enigma as well, getting the last hit on that. He's going to really start enjoying this. Vitality booster as well as Soul Ring for that Enigma. So that extra life can sacrifice it as well. You sacrifice it, create more conversions. And only sacrifice it when you need it. If you're a little bit short, if you find your mana's been taken off you, what you need to do, pop the Soul Ring, sacrifice your life, get some life, and get some mana back again. Midge in the meantime, interested to see... Hang on. Yeah, hang on. Oh, I wish I could talk about that. Midge in the meantime, double damage rune. He'll be showing that one when he comes in towards this mid lane. Synderen can see him just running back there. It's inside the bottle. The bottles like having that little bit of extra color to them. So if you click on the hero, you can check out what is there. In the meantime, Anti-Mage, a hero who I have not spoke about at all, in fact, is free farming up the top lane. This, I'm going to just say, should not be happening. Really should not be happening. A farmed up Anti-Mage is possibly the worst thing a team can be facing. Howler Terror goes through the middle lane. Viper shows himself as well. Arrow flies again by Mitch. A little bit of harassment towards Sea Badger, and they'll push on this tier 1 tower. 3 heroes all on the front line. Shackle shot, a long shackle shot down there to Bayo, but they can't dive the tower that far. There's too many, especially with those conversions there. Mini stun on line. He lets up his own stun. He's already gone. Enigma gets the kill. Mitch has already popped off the DD rune. With that Yashiri will deal a lot more damage. TPing in towards the middle lane. Omni Knight comes in. Power shot goes straight through him. Doing almost no damage whatsoever. Mech is already up on Omni Knight. Arrow will fly. Doesn't hit on anything, but just passes by that tower. Howler Terror, just dropping that armor down of all the creeps on the front lines. Basically, the tower can destroy them very fast, as well as the power shot from Synderen. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Tide at least is now level 6, so that Ravage will be up for our next fight. And I'm still worried about this guy, top lane. That is a lot of money for the Anti-Mage to be getting. He's been left to free farm while Wild Honey Badger's having to be a little bit more defensive. They're holding multiple heroes in just one spot. They travel in pairs, and that means they have to share the XP. Viper can't get those levels up. And that is a big problem for him. He's actually picked up a cloak right now. We don't know if he'll convert that into a Hood of Defiance. He would like to convert it into a Hood of Defiance, but if he has the money for that will be the bigger question. It'll also be a very large question. How long he holds on to that. We've got a Wraith Band, we've got Stick, TP Scroll, Boots, or Treads I should actually say. They have been updated. This is the 18-minute mark, by the way, so 13... That's a lot of money. Has not picked up the Battle Fury. Tier 1 town are being harassed by Mitch. Arrow will fly, just having a little bit of a surge. That arrow gives off vision. He'll hope for the stun and just harass the Viper back. Not really helping that corrosive skin, slowing Mitch down. TP support comes in towards the middle lane. That's going to be the VS for the support. Taking a little bit of damage from the conversions before they just pop into pools of water on the ground. Sea Badger also showing himself in the middle lane. So once again, 3 heroes grouping up in this middle lane. And Synderen showing himself as well. There's a lot of heroes for Wild Honey Badgers being dedicated towards this middle lane. Be it to kill a tier 1 tower, which is pretty low on life, so they can achieve that. I'm not quite sure if they will be able to. There's a lot to stop them. Those conversions deal a lot of damage. They can really slow down that creep wave. And then not to mention you've got Crystal Maiden. If she needs to, she can pop off that ultimate. And generally you wouldn't use an ultimate on a creep wave, but Crystal Maiden's ultimate when it comes towards a team fight, she's generally not in position for that and generally doesn't want to be in position for that ultimate. It requires her to be right in the middle of that fight. So it's one of those things that you drop if you're in a good position to play it. But most of the time you try and level up your aura, level up your frostbite, keeping that stun going, as well as that little bit of Nova damage and slow. That is more important for them. Meanwhile, up on that top lane, Anti-Mage still going. You can see him now, Broadsword as well as Claymore. All he's going to need right now is a Void Stone, and he'll have that TP support coming towards the top lane. And see, oh, trying to get the block. A lot of damage being done. TP's out, he turns him into a frog. Will he come up in time? Oh! Ooh, one last slice from the Anti-Mage. That is that extra damage that comes from that Broadsword and Claymore. It's a little bit behind schedule, but gets there nonetheless.
Regeneration.
Bayo, just being cheeky. Picking it up when he didn't really need it. Mitch back in towards that middle lane. He has no fear whatsoever, Mitch. He is just so powerful at this point of the game. 9 kills for him, 3 already on the Anti-Mage. And there's Maya initiating here on Viper. Arrow will fly, but only just getting away. That must be a level 1. Yes, a level 1 stun. And Groy's going to come in. Baja goes out. Viper gets the kill before the TP is finished. So Crystal Maiden dying for the 3rd time, and is the only hero that the Dire has managed to kill. And now they're going to lose that tier 1 tower on top. Omni Knight and Anti-Mage. Such a lethal combination with that blink from Anti-Mage and then the purification from Omni Knight. Just able to damage everything and heal up the Anti-Mage in the same amount of time. TP back and towards the middle lane. White Honey Badgers are pushing this. Karate comes down. He's going to look for the Ravage Shackle shot. Unable to latch Mitch onto anything else. Groy's in trouble. Arrow will change. He can't pop off the Ravage in time. Conversion will push the rest of White Honey Badgers back, but will they keep the chase on? Anti-Mage definitely will say yes. Mitch will say yes. There goes the blink up, and he's blocking Cinderum with his body. The heal as well from Omni Knight. They are trying to stun him off. Gringe Omni Knight's held him the back end of play. Cinderum is still the focus target. The Starfall finishes him, and Viper is headed back with a black hole. He's got the 2 of them back. Then in comes Anti-Mage, pops the ultimate, kills off the line. They finish the job. Viper comes back in again. Omni Knight pops the ultimate. Anti-Mage blinks up. They just want to dive the tower. Cinderum with a good shackle. Ravage from Karani. Fnatic overextending. Andre goes down. Mirana very, very lucky to leap out. Anti-Mage blinks away. Repel goes up from Omni Knight just a little bit later after that Viper strike went down, which means he won't be affected. The Repel dispels all those abilities. And only Enigma was the casualty from the extra dive from Fnatic. It's funny because generally it's the Wild Honey Badgers who have been in that position where they have dived down too far.
Dire's top tower is
In the meantime, Anti-Mage, you can see him there with that Battle Fury just pushing everything out. Oh man. Cinder in the meantime trying to get whatever farm he can. That Meg Charge really allowed Wild Honey Badgers to stay in that middle fight just that little bit longer. Without that, they would have died a lot sooner than they did. With that tight ultimate, if they got that off a lot earlier, things could have been different. But it was a good shutdown. It's a very, very good shutdown from Fnatic MSI. They just wanted to hold that tight under down, ignore that Ravage, and I love it. I love it. He's actually managed to buy that up already. Meanwhile, top lane, Viper getting a little bit of farm. Nice to him. Very, very nice farm for the Viper. That is massively impressively done. Just check out what he's like on the CS scores. You gotta give props. There's a decent amount of farm coming in. Arrow's going to hit Cinder, and they saw the TP in. It's just going to stall time from Ryan to kill off that middle tower and just reveal the fact she has a Manta-style Sea Badger. Got to be really careful. Badger lets the stun off. Mitch goes up. Fantastic shackle by Cinderin. The Illusion's trying to kill off Sea Badger, but the Illusion cannot do it like a boss. And Sea Badger manages to retreat. An amazing power shot by Cinderin. Supporters there by VS. They don't want to overextend. Mitch with a shackle. Badger avoids the arrow. Leap goes up. Starfall will do the damage, dropping on Lion's head. Starfall a lot more dangerous than raindrops falling on your head. And now Fnatic can team up in the middle lane. They will try and push this down to the tier 2 tower, while Anti-Mage does what Anti-Mage does best. Push a lane which no one's in and get some farm. And then dominate them when it comes to the team fights. So now will the mid tower be able to withstand this? Mitch goes in first. Omni Knight there as well. Omni Knight, of course, the item which I was talking about before is with that Blink Dagger. It's when Mirana goes in and Anti-Mage goes in, he can get in good position to pop off that heal. So the purification goes at the same time when Mitch leaps in right next to the heroes. So it's almost a double-edged sword. I'm not just talking because Anti-Mage because he has 2 swords. I'm talking about the fact that if Anti-Mage blinks in, you drop that purification heal, deals a crap load of damage, heals him up too. So any initial damage which is done by Wild Honey Badger to that blinking hero is instantly taken back and then reverted back into damage. So Wild Honey Badgers can be really careful when that happens to not get caught out of position. But it's almost impossible when you've got 2 heroes that can change their position that fast. Mirana's going to be a little bit careful on this bottom lane. Cinderin, Shackle, Howler Terror, Mirana can leap out of this, will have to be leaping. Vengeful Spirit goes for the stun, can do the swap as well, but now there's 3 of them. They're waiting for that Manta-style to pop. Arrow will turn around. Cinderin doesn't get hit by it, but the range creep sacrifices its life for the greater good. Shackle shot, Cinderin trying to latch it on from one of the illusions, but didn't jump all the way down to Mitch, and Mitch just using those illusions to push Cinderin back. In the meantime, we've got a little bit of fun with counter warding. So each team just having a little bit of a play around the front of that Roche pit. Just one of those things that you want to keep vision on. We're now 25 minutes into the game, and it's very, very easy for either of these teams to tank this damage up. very easy for the Radiant team because they have that Omni Knight heal, and then they can just tag off the heals from the rest of them. Nicely done there by you. But they can tag off those heals on anyone who needs to go in. And then you've also got the mech from Windrunner, and you've got Titan who has a big tank ability, not to mention the Viper, who can really slow down the attacks of Roshan. So it makes it a little bit easier to kill him off. But it's also very, very risky to go for Roshan. Wild Honey Badgers, while they would like it, they would like even more to try and get the counter ganks off. And that's why you see that ward battle just happening around the front end of the Rosh pit. Even just a simple scout. There's a fun ability. Fnatic missing from everywhere on the map. They're not in a single lane. The same, however, can be said about the Dire. Wild Honey Badgers are nowhere, but Karani is caught out. Arrow will fly up. Synderen again. Great shackle shot by Synderen. Power shot chain off. While the pipe is up, no one's going to take damage from that. So it does force at least the pipe to pop off, but that has also showed to the world that the pipe has been completed, and the pipe is on Enigma. Also showed out the Demon Edge has been purchased up by Mirana. So Mirana might be looking to get that MKB up. MKB being one of those fantastic items to shut down Windrunner. We've already seen how much of a thorn in the side Synderen can be. When you pop off that Windrunner ability, your evasion is basically 100%. But the MKB doesn't care about evasion. It goes straight through that, so Synderen will not be able to avoid that damage from Mitch. Scouting arrow almost hits the Tidehunter. Now leaps up. Starfall's going to start it. Already with the anchor smash, dropping down that damage. Synderen called out with a frost already. Kuronity falling back. Now the tide is up here. The pipe is up for Viper. He's popped it off as well. Synderen popping up the mech charge, trying to give enough life. Andre's trying to dive. He is very, very slow. He cannot get in position for the black hole. Kuronity pops off a good Ravage. This is a fantastic fight for the Wild Honey Badgers. It's an awesome stun from line 2, holding the rest of Fnatic in place. Mitch with the repel, forced to leap away, and the blink out too. Anima goes down. Fantastic fight there for the Wild Honey Badgers. But in the meantime, Anti-Mage taking out the tier 2 tower on top. Manta is done for him. Battle Fury, and he's getting even more money with every single second that passes. So a kill on Enigma 1 is great for Wild Honey Badgers. It cost them a lot of money. That tier 2 tower going down. I didn't want to look at that. I did not want to look at that. Just so you can explain what this is, that is the gold difference, how much money has been earned by either team. If it goes above the line, that's the Radiant's advantage. If it goes below the line, that's the Dire's advantage. And you can see it right there. Down towards our bottom lane. Halaterra just trying to slow down. How many Mitches do you need? There's currently 5 of them on the bottom lane from the Manta as well as the Illusionary Shackle almost latching. In fact, it does. It latches all the way down. VS swaps up. Then they go the stun. Synderen has another Shackle in 4 seconds time. The leap has already been used. It will give him that extra movement speed to get away. Very, very hard to kill Mitch. And Synderen will just try and diffuse the situation on the bottom lane. Viper's trying to do it in the middle lane. It's impressive for Viper to have that pipe as well as Vanguard. It's going to make it very, very difficult for the Radiant to push inside the main base. Pop off that pipe. Starfall has very little effect. Same with the Purification. Enigma's Black Hole, and not just that. It's this little guy here, the Midnight Pulse. Increasing the damage because that's not really going to help. Anti-Mage is the one that can do it with right clicks. Right click is going to be hard for him as well. He wants to kill off that Viper. That Viper's getting a lot more farm as we're going through the game. You can check out the CS right now. And while Viper doesn't actually have that much, he doesn't really need that much. That's the awesome thing about Viper. I put Viper in the same category as I do Dro Ranger. One of those heroes that's just abilities give it that much power. That's why he was such a favorite pick in this tournament. That's why he did appear a couple of times by Na'Vi during the Dota 2 International, and why he continues to appear in events like the BenQ tournament, the defense as well. He's just a stable pick, especially when you're going up against melee heroes, or any heroes really. That corrosive skin really just slows you down when you're trying to bring him down, and that's what gives Viper the extra, well, advantage when it comes to a lot of those fights. You try and focus down Viper, and everybody gets shut down because of it. So having a little bit of a search around. The only hero right now for the Radiant who is visible is Mitch in the middle lane. Without Mitch, they won't attempt that Roshan, so they know that's not the option. But Mitch is going to be really, really careful just soloing up there in that middle lane because he could have support just hanging around the corner. That's going to be the bigger question. And now Sea Badger gets revealed as he finds Mitch. But in the meantime, he is not going to get that kill. It is the anti-mage they want back up in the neutrals. He blinks himself away. Karoni's going to get in closer. He pops off the Ravage. Lineage getting killed in the back end of play because the reinforcements have arrived. Arrow will fly up. It goes straight into Synderen. And the support is there. Heal up on the anti-mage from the Omni Knight. And really caught out of position. Fnatic MSI, they own these jungles. And now they'll push into the main base. Andre will create some conversions as fast as he possibly can. Push down this lane. Anti-Mage can do it himself. So much money on him. And they'll push on this tier 3 tower. Halaterra will give that negative armor. Mana Cell instantly just pops. Does not care. Look how much damage it's done to a tier 3. And GG, well played, already called. Syndra is standing up from his computer. They have had enough. The first game goes to Fnatic MSI. A massive advantage, 24-5, and the GG here, 30 minutes into the game. We'll be back here in just a moment for game number 2 of this best of 3 grand final for the Dreamhack. That's right, that is where we are. It is the Corsair DotA 2 Vengeance Tournament. Big thanks to Corsair as well for putting up the 10,000, which is what is the prize pool for this competition. These teams fighting not only for that part of the prize pool, but for the honor of being the first DotA 2 champion here at Dreamhack. We'll see you guys in just a couple of moments.